Timberwolves team to heights that they had never reached before. And he did it all the time being the same humble individual. His passing left shockwaves coast to coast by some of the biggest names in basketball.
Nobody was more passionate about the game of basketball than Flip Saunders.
I'd like to have a list of gymnasiums in Minnesota in which Flip Saunders never stepped in. I mean, he was everywhere.
Flip was an icon and a staple, and in that community, and as a basketball mind.
Flip Saunders was one of the most creative and innovative coaches in the time I've been in the league.
If you weren't prepared to play against his teams, he was going to make you look like a fool.
With all his different calls, the 352, 495 calls, all the twist action.
I liked his coaching aspect because he did things that were unique. He didn't just follow the run-of-the-mill game plan that the NBA kind of promotes. Was unique in what he tried to do with the game. It was special.
Some kind of way he put it all together. It made it look good while he put it together.
You know, he's one of the great offensive minds from the standpoint of, his playbook was always difficult to figure out and scout.
His players loved playing for him, and I'd always told myself, even back then, I wish I'd had the opportunity at some point in my career to play for Flip Saunders.
There was never anybody left out with Flip. From player 1 to 15 was always picking everybody up.
There are not a lot of coaches that us players play for that you continue on and have a lifelong relationship / friendship with.
He always was smiling. I mean, that to me was one of the most unique things.
He was just fun to be around, just an incredibly nice person.
Flip was what I call a lifer. He loved the game, he respected the game like nobody's business. He was all in, and he obviously was somebody that all of us respected for that very, very much.
Everyone who came in contact with Flip as a person, not just as a coach, is blessed to have done so.
Flip is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Somebody that I think was universally liked in the league, and that's a rare feat for a guy who's won a lot of games.
He's a great person, a great friend, and a great role model from the start.
Just a genuine, nice man, just a gentleman.
Flip would talk to you and genuinely care about what you were saying. Because nobody can talk as much as Flip Saunders, and I mean nobody.
I guess what I'll remember most about Flip was he never blew anybody off. He was just a good guy who liked people.
Here he is, a pro basketball coach, and yet would treat the most highly prized player, whether it was KG or a guy that may deliver mail or clean the bathrooms after games. He'd treat everybody the same.
I think he'll be missed as a coach because of the community aspect that he carried.
He was old school as far as relationships go, and always put his arm around you, always have just a cool conversation with him. You always be able to call him anytime you needed.
Didn't matter what time of day, he could call at 3 in the morning and Flip would answer the phone.
He was an insomniac, and so he was always up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
My wife still gets phone calls, remembers the phone calls at 3 in the morning, think he's dialing my cell phone when he's dialing the house phone.
He was always humorous, helpful, sincere, somebody that you would jump into the foxhole with without any doubt.
I will appreciate you more than anyone I know for one basic reason. You never changed.
If I found that interview I did with him back in the mid-70s and ran one I did with him last year, same guy, never changed.
But you know what's going to be great is all the people who remember Flip and will come up and tell you about that and the great memories that will come flooding back to you about a life that was well lived by Flip Saunders.
Flip, we all loved you. We're all better for having known you, and we'll miss you, brother.
Thank you to Debbie and Ryan and the girls for letting us all have him. I know it's a sacrifice living with a coach, but he was the best.
You are sometimes marked by the impression you leave, and he has left one.
Thank you, Flip. I'm gonna miss you.
Flip was a great guy, passion for this game. He loved basketball, and he loved everybody. I mean, everybody feels special. I mean, he was Flip.
He was a great guy, great coach. Everybody liked him here.
You play here, just part of the team, you're part of the family, so this is really big loss for us.
It's always been just a two-way street where he's always been giving me advice and looking out for me, and you could tell it was from the heart.
Flip did so much for me in my career. It's just a blessing to be able to teach some of these things that he taught me to these young players here in Minnesota.
He had a vision, we're trying to make that vision live on forever. Every day, every practice, every game we play for Flip.
When he's with you, you feel like you are the most important. He always wanted us to do great.
He drafted me, took a chance with me. I don't think I'd be in this position right now if it wasn't for Flip.
I pride myself on, being his draft pick, and he fought for me. And, we don't miss and love him, man. It's it's tragic, but we don't do everything for him.
I really felt the good energy that he had and that he transpired.
As he always wanted to give more. He wanted to give more than he would ask.
I wanted to come here and get an opportunity to just be around him one more time.
To be healthy around the players as a coach, you have to love your family first. Coach loved his family so much, and that allowed him to come here and be such a free spirit and such an amazing person to be around.
I'm gonna keep your vision alive. I'm gonna keep working hard to make this organization the vision that you always had us being, which is a championship team.
You put everything together. You were the man. I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you. More than anything, I just want to thank you for all you've done for me.
Thank you, Flip, for being such a huge role model to the NBA and to the Wolves family.
You taught me a lot of things about basketball, but you taught me the most important thing is that how important it is to be a decent human being and a caring human being.
We're gonna always miss your basketball talks that lead into what it takes to be a great man in life.
And I remember the first time you told me you loved me. That really hit me because usually at this level, people try to keep those type of feelings to themselves. And I'm glad we were able to say that, while you were here. But I just want to tell you, I love you too. Rest in peace.